other team, like just the ecosystem of pressure.
Okay.
We don't be like, you got to do this or else, but it's all
Do I
encompassing.
feel sometimes if you're losing your confidence and you've got this market and crazy number of people that follow you on social media or mainstream doesn't get to you, it has to.
Of course it does.
It does.
But that's because everyone cares and is paying attention, which is exactly what you want if you're an athlete.
But it's not sneaking up on you either.
No.
For some of these guys that have been around 8 or 9 years.
Willie said it's all he knows.
Yeah.
Right? Like he got asked about it. He's like, it's all I know.
That's why when they lose 3 regular season games in a row, Willie goes, what's the big deal? He's been mired
But
in
he's
it.
smart enough to say, what's the big deal? Not to say what's the big deal in the playoffs.
Right.
Yes.
Right?
You're right. You pick your spots there a little bit.
So,
doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, they're just trying to defend it a little bit. I honestly, God, I tell Florida, just shut up.
I know.
We don't need you. We don't need you. We don't need your sympathy. Just scram, beat it. Go play your Carolina Hurricanes and get out of our town.
Yeah, speaking of vacuums. And I do think that this is where there's some legitimate jealousy from a team like Florida, who is on the cusp of, whether you call them a dynasty or greatness or whatever you want to call it. And it's not that loud. It's not all that whatever. So I think for them, it's like they get to point at the Toronto market and go, oh, that would suck. I wouldn't want that. It's like, you'd kill for that.
Yeah, you had 10 people at your Stanley Cup parade on the beach.
While you're having the success, you'd kill for it.
Yeah.
So I do think that that's why it's coming from Florida more than from Toronto. We're going to talk about the pressure because it is a story now, but I'm just saying I'm taking the Leafs guys off the hook on it because I haven't heard them say a word.
It was every question to every guy at the availability was, I think, the first question.
The first thing that comes to mind is they're not as good as the Panthers.
Sure.
And that's
fair take.
Flip their cities. Is it any different?
That's it. You want to go and find little sorry excuses like pressure, dog ate my homework, I don't know, but no, you just weren't as good as them. And if we went down the roster and we said, Barkov or Matthews,
we did this yesterday.
right? You take 6 of those guys before you take most of the Leafs.
The pressure factor, again, I'm not saying it's a non-factor into why these guys don't have big game success. I'm saying they haven't used it as a crutch. Because I do think it has some impact in terms of those guys in these playoff series. But sure. I'm just saying none of them have said that's why it's happened or used it as
Do you want
excuse.
Tavares' comments on pressure?
I thought Tavares and Matthews. Did I put the Matthews one in here? I thought I did. I did. Okay. Play the Matthews one on pressure first, please, Derek.
I don't think that's ever really something that gets talked about too much or too much of a focus on. I think, it's the nature of playing in here. It kind of comes with the territory. And like I said before, I think it's an amazing place to play. I love playing in Toronto and playing for this fan base and this organization. And I think that kind of stuff is just kind of outside noise that isn't really focused on or talked about too much in our locker room, I would say.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe them.
I do too. I wish I believed them that they don't pay attention to as much as I think they do pay attention quite a bit. But he's saying the right thing there for sure.
Let's play Berube clip 2 on the pressure.
Greg, there's lots of talk about fan and media pressure in this market. There's pressure in lots of big markets and lots of teams are successful. Where do you land on that as an explanation for the team's shortcomings?
Like you just said it, and there's pressure everywhere. I don't care where you're playing. If you're playing in that Game 7 and you're in Columbus, there's pressure to win. Okay, the only pressure that we should feel is right inside the locker room from each other. That's honestly my opinion.
What's that?
Why is it always them against the pressure of the fans? It's just, we've talked about this before, but it's just such a...
Well, no, it starts there, though.
Statement.
It starts there.
I know, but
it starts with being accountable beside the guy that you're getting dressed with, Sammy.
Which I totally understand.
Yeah, and that's all. That's all Craig's talking about.
And it should be. And I understand that at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. If you're going to win, you have to love the guys you're in the locker room that you're about to go to battle with against the Florida Panthers. I understand that. But at the same time, you do kind of have to know that this means a lot to people. And like saying that you're blocking them out or like that doesn't get inside the room, having that be like one of the mission statements of your team for 9 years really pisses people off.
It's actually funny to use that energy. We channel that.
I see what you're saying.
And
it's dismissive of him to exclude everybody outside the locker room.
And quite frankly, it's leading to a lot of people that are pretty sick of this stuff with like us against the fans. And, like they barely said the word fans today. Like I listened to everything.
Yeah.
I bet you they said fans 2 times out of every single person. And it's like, listen, I know the fans don't win any games. They don't play any, but like, that's it matters. This is a big time club with the biggest fan base in the sport. They should have some bearing on what you do. You should have some pride. I'm sorry.
Would have been nice for one of them say, we're sorry.
We're sorry to the fans
We're sorry
again.
we disappointed you.
But they've never said that.
I know.
Ever.
I know you're right.
Ever.
Sam, I can sit here and tell you I see your point of view.
Thank you. That's all I need to hear.
100%.
I'll shut up.
Because of my world and where I've come from, and maybe the players are the same way. They forget that. Maybe it's someone like you someone like you is the perfect person to remind them of that.
But you know what?
You just did it to me.
But Kip, I'm torn on this because I've, spent time with recent NHLers who I've heard say the fans aren't owed anything. They get to be.
Oh gosh,
they buy.
They pay tickets to come and see
Right,
you.
they pay your salary.
They are owed an honest effort.
Okay.
Justin, please tell me whoever says that to you, you just tell them that.
Yeah.
Okay, they paid good money, and in Toronto, because the prices are so exorbitant, it's even harder.
Yeah.
That's what's happened here. Is people don't mind paying $1,200 to sit in the upper row.
To see a giver.
But not for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big issue right now.
Like, would it absolutely kill the captain of the Maple Leafs to come out and be like, we know how bad you want it, and we're sorry what happened the other night. It wasn't good enough. We want to be better. Like, do you know how far that would go?
Yeah.
And it's just, I talked about this yesterday.
It wouldn't hurt.
Yes. And like, it's just never, ever, they've never seemed to care outwardly about letting us down.
I feel like it's, take it for granted, right? You're going to be back next year.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Bang on.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Toronto Maple Leafs, the organization, the ticket prices, all that stuff, they could use a little bit of less loyalty, like I talked about yesterday, where they just know.
I do think that wears thin eventually. Like, people won't keep coming back forever.
How many?
Well, then,
I mean,